Hi everyone, it's Intang Mayumi. For today's card, I use Hero Arts Your Sweet as Pie stamp set. This stamp set is one of the add-ons that you can purchase separately to go along with the My Monthly Hero Arts July 2018 card kit. I went ahead and mounted all the food images on my Stamp Perfect, and I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink to ink them. And I'm just using my scraps of Strathmore Bristol 100-pound paper and stamp them a few times to get good impression. I stamped a bunch of the images. As you can see here, they're ready for coloring. I use my Zig markers to color the food images. I use two shades of color, a darker shade and a lighter shade on almost all of the images. Some of them I just use one color and blend the color with water using my small brush. For this blueberry pie, I just use brown for the darker shade and then beige for the lighter shade. And for the blueberries, I just use deep blue color. And then I blend the color using water. For the pretzel, I use brown color and light brown. And then I also use my Jelly Roll white gel pen to add some white dots on the pretzel so it looks like it has salt on the pretzel. For the cotton candy, I use two shades of pink. I use light pink and pink. And then for the paper cone that holds the cotton candy, I use cobalt blue and then light blue. For the popcorn, I use bright yellow and yellow. And for the stripes of the popcorn bucket, I use red and blend the color with water. I also use gray on the sign that says popcorn on the popcorn bucket. And again, I blend the color with water. For the corn dog, I use brown and mustard. I blend them together. And then for the stick of the corn dog, I use brown color. And then for the mustard, I just use yellow. For the cheeseburger, I use mustard color on the bun. And then yellow for the cheese. And then emerald green for the lettuce, and red for the tomatoes, and brown for the patty. For the snow cone, I use gray and light gray, and then lilac for the sign that says snow, and then yellow for the straw, and fluorescent orange for the snow cone. For the lollipop, I want to have fun colors on my lollipop, so I made it into rainbow lollipop. And the colors I use are red, orange, yellow, May green, light blue, and lilac. And for the stick of the lollipop, I just use light gray. And after I'm done coloring all of them, I added some glossy accent on the snow cone, on the mustard of the corn dog, and the blueberry pie, and the lollipop. And then I also use my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen to add some shimmer on the cotton candy. I also added some shimmer on the popcorn, and on the cheeseburger, corn dog, and then the pretzel. Here are my colored images ready to go. I fussy cut all of them using my Fiskars Soft Touch scissor, but this stamp set has coordinating dies that you can buy, but I didn't purchase that one, so I'm just using my scissor, and they're easy to fussy cut. For the pretzel, I use my craft knife to cut the inside of it. I use my Memento black marker to color the white edges of the images so it looks seamless and you don't see the white showing when you adhere them on the card. I don't always do this, but it just depends on the images that I'm using on my card. For my background, I'm using HP glossy photo paper. I heard people talk about using this with their distress oxides, so I want to try it today. Mine is old photo paper that we have in the house, but I'm sure other glossy photo paper will work as well. The first distress oxide that I use is the fossilized amber. I spray some water on the ink and then I'm doing a smooshing technique here and then just cover the paper with the ink. The second one is the wilted violet and it's the same. I just spray some water and then I did a smooshing technique like the first one. And then covered the paper with ink. I dry my panels using my heat tool, and I was careful here because I don't want my panels to crack because I'm not using regular cardstock, I'm using photo paper. Here are my panels. As you can see, the oxide inks leaves a chalky residue on the photo paper, but you can remove it using dry cloth, and that will help to clean the chalky residue from the oxide inks, and it will look shiny. I also use peacock feathers and cracked pistachio distress oxide and did the same thing like the first ones. For this one, I use barn door distress ink, and I just want to see if it's the same like the distress oxide with the chalky residue. And I did smooshing technique on this as well. And again, I use my heat gun to dry the panel. So the distress ink, it just leaves a tiny bit of chalky residue. It's not like the distress oxide inks. So I'm just showing you again here that I'm using my dry cloth to remove the chalky residue, and they look shiny after you clean them. So here are my backgrounds. I love the technique that I did on this background here, and I love the colors. I use Gina Marie Design Stitch Rectangle die set, and I also use the Wonky Stitches 4 layers die set to die cut my panels. I saved the extra pieces from the die cut panels to use it in the inside of the card later. I use Lawn Fawn Stitch scallop borders, and I also use Cut Scrappiness scallop stitch border dies, and I just use one die from those sets. The plaid paper I use that I die cut is from My Favorite Things Tiny Check 6x6 paper pack. After I die cut the plaid paper, I die cut them again using the stitch rectangle die so it will fit perfectly on two of the panels. I used this ticket stamp from the 6x8 stamp set from the card kit. The ink I use for the ticket is the Kaleidocolor Tomato Vine ink. I also use my Stampa Magic to align the ticket because I want to connect them together, so I have rows of ticket, and then I fussy cut them using my scissor. After I fussy cut them, I distress the edges of the tickets with vintage photo distress ink, so it looks like it's old tickets. I adhere the tickets on the panel using foam tape, and then I just arrange the food images on the panel the way where I want them, and then use glossy accent to adhere them on the panel. The post-it tape helps me to hold the images, so I don't have to fuss about adhering each of them one by one, and makes your life easier. This is the only top folding card that I made from the 5 cards, and I didn't use the post-it note here because I just know where to place the images. For this one here, I adhere the plot paper first using double-sided tape, and then arrange the images, food images on the panel, and then tape it, and then put some glossy accent on them, and then adhere them on the panel. And again, I did the same thing on this one. Adhere the plot paper, arrange the food images, tape it with post-it tape, glossy accent, and adhere it on your panel. I use sentiments from the Hero Arts Your Sweet as Pie. The sentiments I use are treat yourself, I hope life treats you kindly, and it's your birthday. I also use the hello sentiment from the card kit, the 6x8 stamp set, and then I am going to use my scraps of this blue shimmer cardstock, ink the sentiments with Versamark ink, and then I'm going to emboss all of them with Wow Bright White embossing powder, and melt all the powder using my heat gun. I use my Fiskars trimmer to cut the sentiments. You can also use your scissor, just your scissor, to cut the sentiment, but I want them to be straight, so that's why I use my Fiskars trimmer. And then added the foam tape at the back of the sentiment. My card base are 110-pound craft cardstock that I got from Joann's, and then I'm adhering my panels here onto the card base using double-sided tape and a little bit of glue. After I adhere all the panels onto the card base, we're gonna move on to the next step. Here I'm placing the sentiments on the card using foam tape. For the inside of the card, I'm adhering the leftover panels that I die cut a while ago, and adhering all these panels in the inside of the card using double-sided tape. I stamped the ticket using Kaleidocolor Tomato Vine ink in the inside of the card, on that card there, and 2 of the sentiment from the Your Sweet as Pie, I also stamped them in the inside. And my cards are finished. So here are my 5 cards that I made today using Hero Arts Your Sweet as Pie stamp set. As always, thank you so much for always liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. I hope you liked today's card, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.